Swamini is a direct disciple of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, having studied with him, having done the 3-year course, and having studied many years Vedanta, Sanskrit, Vedic chanting. She has also studied from Swami Brahmavidananda, and before her Purvashrama role was she was the country head of an international organization which looked after street children, and she was formerly a psychologist. More importantly, Swamini produces so much of content. It's amazing. I mean, she's written a book saying "You Matter," insights from Vedanta. She's got a website, arshavidyaananda.in. So please, if you want to know more about Swamini's work, please go on to arshavidyaananda.in. She's got a podcast called River of Wisdom. I think almost on a weekly basis, there is a new podcast that comes out on a very interesting topic. And she is so savvy as far as technology is concerned, next only to Bill Gates and Tim Cook. That's how good she is with tech. So, and that is one of the reasons why she's able in terms of content and what she's saying, and even the quality of the videos or the recording is so excellent. It's a pleasure to listen to her on her podcasts, and she's committed to spreading the teachings of the Vedic wisdom and works very closely with Swamiji on putting together our dream project of the ashram near Mumbai. What Swamini is going to talk to us now is about the battle within. And so I casually asked her about a few minutes ago, saying, will you help me lay out the topic a little bit for the people? And she said some interesting things. She said she's going to look at the Bhagavad Gita and the insights from the Bhagavad Gita on how it helps either clean up the cobwebs or answer some of the conflicts within our mind. And could be as small as a teenager having a conflict as to what to wear for the biggest party of the year. It could be a young professional thinking, should I join a startup or should I take up a job? It could be a middle-aged man saying, I'm not making enough money in this country. Should I go abroad and settle? Although all my support system is in this country, but I want more money. I want to go abroad and settle. That's a battle within. A retired man thinking, I don't want to be a burden on my children. I'll book myself into a nice old age home and settle down there. Maybe, that will be a better life for me. Or should I do that? Shouldn't I do that? These are all of us have gone through some or all of these decisions at some stage in our life. And these are all, at that stage in our life, they were very difficult questions if you passed through that stage in your life. So we would like to hear from Swamini Brahmaprajnananda Saraswati. Welcome to your own Vedic Wisdom Festival.
Start with the prayer. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So as Suresh beautifully laid out, at every age and stage in life, we experience conflicts. And some of these conflicts can become raging battles. And these conflicts are not limited to a particular time in life. They are experienced on a daily basis because choices have to be made. And it is the gift and the curse of free will. If we didn't have free will, then no choice needs to be made. We are just programmed Even animals have little bit of choice, but we'd just be programmed. There would be no conflict. We would be like robots. So given that there is an experience of a conflict, and we have not reconciled yet with the fact that it's okay, life is full of conflicts. I will live with it, I will die with it. We want to find a way out. And therefore, the Bhagavad Gita has a lot to say about all our battlefields within and can be truly our guide and a great blessing for all of our life. And so we begin. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvata sanjaya. Opening verse, Dhritarashtra said to Sanjaya, desiring to fight, what did my people do? What did the Pandavas were on the other side do while they were assembled at Kurukshetra, the abode of Dharma? The Bhagavad Gita begins with the word Dharma, and the word is Dharma Kshetra. Kshetra is a place of pilgrimage. It can be a country, it can be your physical body. Whole of Bharat, India, is a place where the Vedas rule the hearts of people, and therefore it was Dharma Pradhana Kshetra, meaning Dharma is the guiding framework for all our pursuits, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So Kurukshetra, of course, is close to Ambala, within Bharat, but Kurukshetra can also mean Karma Kshetra, this physical body. And so this body is where, backed by free will, karma is done on an ongoing basis. Therefore, this becomes a karma kshetra also. So this karma kshetra becomes dharma kshetra because it is born of dharma. And so what happens here in this region? Well, two forces have assembled. The Pandavas, who stood for purity, clarity, and the Kauravas, 100 and more of them, sons of Dhritarashtra, standing for so many confusions that are born of ignorance. So you try moving around in the dark and you know the kind of things you're going to bump into and possibly have an accident. So the Bhagavad Gita is talking about two kinds of confusion. One is with reference to dharma and adharma, and the other is with reference to what is the reality, the Atma, and what is the reality of the name and form. And so therefore the Bhagavad Gita is both a yoga shastra, which helps us with values, attitudes, and basically how to live a life, and Brahma Vidya, the reality of who you really are. So I thought, for the purpose of this talk, given that at any age and every stage of life, we have different kinds of battles. So we will look at some key verses in the Gita for these kind of battles. And I have listed about 8 to 9 of them. So the first battle that all of us will experience at some point in time or the other, or we have already experienced, is the battle of arrogance of ignorance versus the humility to learn. So this masquerades as I can figure out anything versus I need to surrender. And when we look at Arjuna's situation on the eve of the battle, he was an accomplished warrior. Everyone looked up to him. He had no doubt in his mind about war strategy. He was fully prepared. But seeing his people, he had a change of heart, he had a change of mind. The one thing that he had rested his identity on, his worth on, his pretty much his entire existence existence on is his role as a warrior. And at that time, he gives it up. The bow slips from his hands. Imagine what that can do to a person. How shaken can even a warrior be, that all that I have lived by is not going to serve me right now? Even if victory comes, how can I enjoy that victory which is going to be stained with blood? If I lose also, what's the point? My heart is empty. And that's when this great achiever becomes a seeker. And actually, that ignorance gives way to the humility that I really don't know how to navigate this. That the sense of limitation that is experienced by a human being, I experience it right now. And I am looking for Shreyas. Shishyasteham shadhi vam tvam prapannam. He declares, I am your student, Krishna. All these years they had been in the forest and all, he could have said so. No. And he says, I surrender to you. I take refuge in you. Please teach me. And later on in the Gita, Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one who has trust in the Shastra. And of course, the Guru just happens to be a mouthpiece of the Shastra. So therefore, the one who trusts what the Shastra has to say, because it is the very Shastra that has taught us meditation and the power of mantras, the power of rituals, the fact that there is punarjanma, rebirth, that there is karma, punya papa, sukha dukkha, all that we couldn't figure out on our own, the Shastra has continued to shine the light on. And so the one who has Shraddha, that person gains the knowledge. And then, of course, in time, Shantim Achirenadhi Gachati, gains absolute peace. So this battlefield of arrogance, of ignorance, gives way to a humility to learn. And then we are open and receptive to what the Gita has to say to us. Initially, it will be provisional trust. So easily we trust Amazon. You order something, it will arrive. So easily you trust the Uber driver. You have not seen the fellow's license. You have not asked him how many years have you been driving, etc. You just trust that person with your life. You go to a fine dining restaurant and you don't even think that the chef might poison you, right? So we have trust in strangers. But there is a given societal framework, and so we go along with it. Then can you not trust Sri Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita like millions of people have across ages? So this battlefield can be easily resolved. The second battle that one might face at any age and stage in life is the battle of free will versus destiny. So this manifests as I can achieve anything I want versus I have no control over my destiny. So we have a lovely traditional example for this. So here is a cow who is tied to a pole with a rope. And in one case, the length of the rope is about 5 meters. So the rope stands for your destiny. Okay. So the punya papa that is manifesting in your life because of the choices you have made. And so within that radius of 5 meters, which actually is quite small, the cow can sing, dance, move, hang out with other cows, whatever can be done only that much. There is another cow that is tied to a pole, which the length of the rope is 200 meters. So there is so much more opportunity in terms of punya papa The cow can go traveling to other villages perhaps, and then hang out with other cows, form community cooperatives, and do a lot of other ventures, right? So do we know what the length of the rope of our destiny is? No. Okay, you can get some idea with some astrological reading. But what we do know is what Bhagwan teaches us. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturбhuः ma te sangostva karmani. A verse we might have chanted very often, but a verse that is most misunderstood. Karmani eva adhikaraha, that I have choice with respect to my karma. So far, so good, no problem. Then Krishna is not giving us advice. He is telling us a fact. What? That you have not created the laws of karma, and so therefore do not claim credit for the results. So he's not saying don't be attached to your results. Any person who even asks the question, how can I do a karma without expecting results, is expecting the result of answer to the question, right? So there is no fool who does anything without expecting a result. This verse is not saying don't expect results. It is just pointing out a fact that at best you are a contributor, never the controller of the result. Why? Because for any result, there are so many laws that are operating. And so, oh my God, that makes me feel helpless. No, no, no. But Bhagwan is saying that don't get attached to not doing anything. Because say, anyway, anyway, my destiny is going to unfold. I better not do anything. No, no, no. Don't say that. Don't get attached to inaction. And why are we doing karma? Because we have so many desires that are raging in our heart. So as a karmi, the one who does karma, you cannot avoid stress, anger, frustration. Just cannot avoid it. Why? Because you have taken on the role of creator of the result. But actually, suppose you keep water on a pan to boil, and then you start complaining 5 minutes later, you know what? The water boiled, and that shouldn't have happened. But don't you know the laws that are related to water, that it will boil at 100 degrees centigrade. So around that you can work. Oh, I'm just leaving and I just want a quick cup of tea, so I have just a few minutes to be able to do that, and then I will leave. So our karma has to take into account the laws of karma, but then the question is, where did these laws of karma come? Do you know anyone locally who made the laws? Even if you make some great laws for your home, we all know people are like, really? They start scratching their head. What rules, what laws? I thought home is where we can be ourselves without any rules, laws. And of course, we all know with all the protocols in corporates, how many rules, laws are flouted. So nobody, I and you know, have created the laws of karma, the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry, the laws of biology. Then the question is, from where is all this coming? So then we recognize Bhagwan himself reveals that all the laws have come from him. So now what shall we do? We have to start pleasing Bhagwan now. Better keep the boss happy all the time. No, well, that's not really what is being said. So Bhagwan points out that, when you do any karma, there can only be four possibilities. Let's say you go for a job interview. It's difficult these days, to get jobs, although the level of unemployment is so high, still. So possibility one, you go for the interview, and in the third and the fourth round, you get selected. So result is equal to what you wanted. Fantastic. Second possibility, you go for the job interview, it went so well, and then you found out that you are not selected. The result is much less than what you expected. The third possibility is you go for the job interview, and on your return, you were crossing the road that was close to your house. And that's the last thing you remember, because 2 days later, you wake up in the hospital asking fundamental questions. Why am I here? What has happened to me? So obviously you had an accident, and the result was totally different from what you expected. And the fourth possibility, which is that you went for the job interview, and the interviewer found that you had tremendous potential and is willing to give you seed funding for a startup that the person was thinking of. So you got a result much, much more than what you expected. Fantastic. So when we look at it, any karma that you do at work, in the family, with friends, with colleagues, any karma, these are the only four possibilities. Equal to what you expect, more than what you expect, less than what you expect, and totally different from what you expect. So as long as the result is more than what I expect and equal to what I expect, life is fabulous, correct? But the problem comes when the result is much less than what I expect. So I say my luck was bad luck, khota ho gaya, hai na? And also, to account for that invisible factor where things were totally different from what I expected. In any case, the laws of karma are pervaded by Bhagavan. So Bhagavan or Ishvara is the material of the laws and the intelligence that produces the different kinds of results. So in the recognition that I as an individual am connected to the total, I'm connected to the laws. So of course the secular version is, I don't believe in God, but laws of nature. Ah, yes, you think laws of nature just became random or something, or they were just haphazardly created? Nothing. There is so much intelligence just in the way a flower and its petals are put together. Just such intelligence. And that intelligence can rest only in a conscious being. And so, just in the recognition that, yes, I am subject to the laws of karma, that is the total, there is universal intelligence here, which rests in a conscious being. And by the way, that being gets the name Ishvara Bhagavan. So, a couple of days ago, I got prasad from Jagannath Puri temple. So, I was very thrilled because, it's Gita Jayanti, and of course, it's delicious prasad. And this uh, receiving prasad is a very beautiful cultural practice that finds an echo and a reflection in another verse of the Gita, which says that, what, anyway, results are going to come to you in different possibility formats. So you may have siddhi or you may have asiddhi, you may have an accomplishment or you may have a failure, or whatever you may call it. So what to do about that? Samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So evenness of mind, more or less, is karma yoga. So now I'm receiving this prasada from Jagannath Puri. So it is like poha with jaggery, and then I think they call it, there is one fried thing which is dipped in sugar syrup. I think khaja or something like that it's called. Now certain temples, they have certain kinds of prasad. But still, you go to the temple and you possibly buy a few objects uh, near the temple. So there is, you can identify where a temple is depending on the kind of shops that are there. So there will be garlands and then there'll be coconut and flowers and a few other things. So you just picked up a few sweets maybe to offer. And then the Pandit does the puja and then he returns something to you. And that thing that you paid money for and you offered, and the Pandit gives it to you across the country, across the Hindu diaspora, across the world. How does the person receive it? Sometimes in temples, you don't know what you will get. You may get tirtha, like holy water. You may get some sweet. You may get some flowers. You may get vibhuti. You get something. Or you may not also. You might reach the queue and all prasad distribution is over. Still, there is a transformation that happens to the person. There is a change in drishti. So this ordinary object now, but because it is coming from the altar of Bhagwan, I receive it with complete openness, graciousness, and cheerfulness. Why? But that laddu that you offered, that was just an ordinary object. You had so many laddus in your whole lifetime. What is so special about this? No, 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 this is very special. Why? Because it has come from the altar of Bhagwan. Then what do you think about the laws of karma? All the laws of karma, the laws of nature, the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry, and whatever else that have not yet been discovered, they are all coming in waves from the altar of Bhagwan. And so, what does that do to you? That helps you accept the results of your karma. That whatever is unfolding, good, bad, ugly. So some of it is pleasurable, it is favorable to you, you enjoy it. And then sometimes it's not, you want to cry and you want to sob and you're shocked, like, this couldn't have happened to me. But yeah, by the way, it has. And so, because it has come from Bhagwan, it lessens the blow. It makes the law of karma sacred. It makes this body mind also sacred because here is this kshetra that is interacting with other forms and trying to establish dharma. But in this whole process, does it mean that you just accept and let's see what happens? Anyway, it's so tough. Hey, you can't get away with just samatvam because Bhagwan also points out that I have given you three shaktis. I gave you the power to think, Jnana Shakti. I gave you the power to do Kriya Shakti, and I gave you the power to uh, desire, Ichha Shakti. This is given to all beings, in whatever form they have. Even the bird, okay, the beaver. The beaver has a desire. You can say, okay, beaver is programmed, but to create a nest for the babies. And then from where all over the place, the beaver will go looking for the right kind of twigs to put it all together in this nest. And so there is Jnana Shakti there is Kriya Shakti, and there is Ichha Shakti. This is what I want to do. And so what is Bhagwan saying? Buddhi yukto jahati ha sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karma sukaushalam. So with all the Shaktis that you have been given, and honestly, I have not done any rationing here, Bhagwan says, at any given moment in time, whether you are in prison or you are in palace, you have these Shaktis given to you. So what do you do about it? So therefore, may your karma be aligned with dharma. May you have kaushalam. Kaushalam means being phenomenally competent and effective in the karma that you do. And so at any age and stage in life, there are roles and responsibilities. Most of them have not been chosen, some of them have been chosen. So that you are a son or a daughter, you have a brother or sister, some of the friends that you grew up with in school. So that maybe not so much of choice happened. But then subsequently, girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, um, your office colleagues, other friends, etc., some element of choice is involved. Either way, you are related to a person because life involves relating. Even if you are in a cave in relating to someone or the other, least minimum is for groceries. Okay. So that being the case, then how do I decide what are the norms of relating? So our Vedic tradition is very clear. You know what? Just align it with dharma. Okay. So do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So you don't want to be hurt, the other doesn't want to be hurt. You want to be um, accepted, the other also wants to be accepted, and so on and so forth. So therefore, in your roles, as a child, as a parent, as an in-law, I won't say outlaw, as a professional, perform your very best and recognize that all the results of your karma are unfolding according to the laws of karma, all of it pervaded by Bhagwan. So there will be some situations where the prarabdha is prabala, very, very strong. And then that's when you don't fight. You just ride the wave, like how surfers do. There is no fun if you are wanting to surf and then there are no waves. There have to be waves for you to ride. And then, of course, there are some situations where, with a lot of prayers and so on, you can lessen the impact of karma. So, this battle of free will versus destiny is not a binary, but we resolve it by living the serenity prayer at every age and stage in life, which is that, oh Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom, very importantly, to know the difference. The third battle that we will face, or we have already faced, is the battle of desires as Shaktis versus desires are the root cause of suffering. We hear this a lot in spiritual discourses. And in fact, even Arjuna asked the question to Krishna, अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः. So Arjuna asks our question, impelled by what does a person commit papa? Any karma that is not aligned with dharma, like cheating, stealing, etc. So pushed by what does this person commit papa? Because it seems like, although the person doesn't want to do it, anichan api, but still the person ends up doing it. Like, sometimes some words have tumbled out of your mouth and you're like, really? Did I say this? Like, what was wrong with me? Why did I do this? So Arjuna is also, in a similar boat. And so Bhagwan, he replies, he says, this force and this momentum and this vega that is there. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidhyena Miha Vairinam. So Bhagwan replies that this kamaha, this desire, so please note it is binding desire because dharma, artha, kama, moksha are considered valid human pursuits. But here, when kama word is being used, it is used in the context of binding desire. So this desire, this anger that is born of rajas, it is a glutton. Mahashanaha just wants to eat, 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 eat. It's like fire, right? Whatever you put in the fire, it will just lap it all up. And Mahapapma, because of your intense desire that is binding and is not aligned with dharma, all the acts of crime are committed in this world. Yes? And so, what is Bhagwan saying? That know that this is the enemy number one in this world. Okay. See, that's what I was saying. That means I should not have any desires. No, that's not what Bhagavad is saying. We have to still hear what he has to say. So just look at it logically. Bhagwan cannot give us Ichha Shakti, the power to desire anything and everything, and then say, don't have karma. It's not logical, unless he's a sadist. Okay. So here, what do I mean when I say binding desire? It's like the binding desire of Duryodhana. So he's so jealous, so consumed by jealousy. He could have said, you know what, I think I need therapy. This is not working for me. Or the gurus would have said, no, no, please, you take time off, go away in some retreat or something. But no, jealousy so much that you want to destroy someone, that you cannot see them happy. And whatever they have earned, you just want to grab, grab, grab. So the desire to have them destroyed so consumed Duryodhana that he justified any and every action. This is what happens to a lot of us. I cannot live without this person. I cannot live without this substance. The addiction could be to drugs, to alcohol, to pornography, to social media. All acts of crime, okay, they all begin with a glimmer of desire, but which becomes very, very intense. And so much so that it covers all your learning and all your knowledge. And so, therefore, watch. Bhagwan is not saying don't have the desire, but he goes on to say something more in the seventh chapter, 7.11. Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarishabha. So, you who are a strong person, but you're balavat, I am that strength in you, Bhagwan says. And not only that, that karma that is in your heart, that is aligned with dharma, I am that too. So what is Bhagwan saying? He's saying that please recognize that you have a most valid, it's absolutely valid for you to have a desire, just a little align, okay? Little bit aligned it with dharma. So whatever money you are earning, whatever pleasures you are seeking, just make sure that it's ethical, it is value based, because this contributes to your maturity. And so uh, one way of one way of managing our desires is by fulfilling them, by aligning with dharma. There is another way also. So Bhagwan says that you can also give up your desires by recognizing that there is something more powerful than your desires. So he says that towards the end of the third chapter, Indriyani paran yahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhev paratastu saha. So when you're looking around, like let's say you walk into a mall, then there's lots of sounds, sights, fragrances, tastes, food court, wafting fragrance coming. So what? But recognize that your sense organs are relatively unchanging, whereas all this is changing. The sense organs are far more subtle. They are all here. And but there's something more greater than the sense organs, your organs of action and organs of knowledge. What is that? Your manaha. So you can decide, oh, shall we have Thai food today or shall we have South Indian food today? So mind will throw up some, on the basis of what you are experiencing. And then the buddhi, the decision-making function of the same mind will say, yeah, okay, let's go with Indian food today because we've been eating a lot of other things in the past few days. So, of course, this I'm giving a very innocuous, simple example, but recognizing that there is always something greater than your desire, there is something greater than your mind, there is something greater than even your intellect. And what is that? That is you. That is the Atma awareness that is aware of all of this. And so when you inquire into that, then the binding desire loses its binding power. And you recognize that you are always greater than any and every desire that is just somehow fleeting or the other. The fourth battle is the battle of emotions are negative. So I keep hearing this almost like every second day. I am dealing with my negative emotions. So this is the battle of emotions are negative versus emotions are natural. And this masquerades as I should be free from all negative emotions, or I should accept that emotions are natural. So, of course, who likes being restless and depressed and anxious? We want to kind of be rid of it. And there are many, many methods in modern psychology, lot of other healing modalities and all that. And a lot is spoken of emotions, mental dispositions in the Bhagavad Gita. In fact, Bhagavan says, Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanamaatmanaha kama krodha tatha lobhaha tasmat etatrayam tyajet. May you give up. You want to give up a few things? Well, you know what? Why don't you just give up your binding desire and anger and greed? So, all of us who have tried to manage our anger by counting 1 to 10 and drinking a glass of water just get a temporary respite. But that's as far as the extent of managing your anger goes. So, Bhagwan points out very beautifully to the fact that, you know what, don't even try to manage your anger, but manage the intensity of your desire. Because where that kamaha rests, where it is growing, there are a lot of other very beautiful mental dispositions. So he says that, buddhihi jnanam asammohaha kshama satyam damashamaha sukham dukkham bhayam abhayam. So this 10th chapter Vibhuti Yoga, he says, all these mental dispositions. So your ability to feel happy and then sad and then fear and fearlessness and all whatever you are experiencing, the you thought that it's all coming from you. Well, hello, please don't take credit. Matta eva prithak vidhaha. All of them are from me, Bhagwan. Okay, so all that you can do is to feel it, to experience it, to do something with it, or to just be with it, and it will just go through you. It'll just go through you as a system, right? So what that does is that, we put so many self judgments on ourselves because of the so-called negative emotions, which is an import from modern psychology, not from our traditional learning. And then we suffered the effect of all these self judgments, and then we damned other people also because of their so-called negative emotions. But where karma is, where krodha is, we all have the ability to experience a lot of kindness, a lot of daya, compassion, fearlessness, tushtihi, satisfaction, the ability to do tapas and so on. And so, like that old, Native American saying that in my heart there are two wolves that fight. One, let's say, is the deva, and the other is the asura. One is the so-called negative emotions, and the other is all these lovely, positive, elevating emotions. Who will win? And the grandfather says, the one you feed. So the again we're back to the glory and the gift of choice. Because also, how do we resolve this battle of emotions are negative versus emotions are natural? By seeing that Bhagwan pervades all emotions and each emotion has a purpose. It is whispering wisdom to us all the time. Anger is whispering that injustice may have been done. Fear is whispering that maybe one needs to be cautious. Sadness is whispering that you are feeling disconnected and maybe there is a need to reconnect with something or someone. Then the next battle at any age and stage of life is the battle of self-judgment versus self-acceptance. Everyone has a secret sorrow, which is that I am not okay. I have done a lot, I have achieved a lot, I have traveled a lot, but I am not okay. Okay. And then versus I am acceptable and a form of Bhagwan. So because we are self-conscious, we just can't help but make quick judgments, because we have to interact with people and you have to keep making like split decisions. And of course, we have a great need for certainty. So let's put everyone in tiny boxes and cookie cutter, molds. And then as a result of that, we reduce people to traits, behaviors. We reduce ourselves also. We become critical of oneself. We become critical of the other. And no wonder we are so irritable and dissatisfied with life all the time. Then, of course, our concern is, oh, if I praise myself, if I praise the other person, wo chane ke jhaad pe baith jayenge. They will get carried away. So now what shall we do? So Bhagavan says, Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyaman atmano bandhuhu atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Uddharet, may you lift yourself by yourself. How do you do that? Like you scratch yourself, like are you going to just lift yourself like this? What he's saying is learn to be a bandhu, learn to be a friend to yourself. Friendship is one of the most underrated relationships. A friend is always there for you, right? Accepts you as you are, encourages you, says, come on, you can do it, cheers you on, is not trying to control you, right? So we've all had these friends, and maybe we are also these kind of friends. So you feel totally accepted in the presence of this person. And just that act of being seen by another person and being recognized as acceptable prompts you adequately to do whatever you need to do. So, what is Bhagwan telling us? Learn to be a friend to yourself. Do not be your Ripu. Okay, Ripu is not Jack the Ripper. It is don't be your own enemy. So you talk to yourself because there's this constant inner chatter. You talk to yourself like a friend would, and you'll be fine. Then one more battle, which is the battle of God as one form versus God as form as well as formless. So the way we look at Bhagwan is so closely related to how we look at ourselves. So if I look at myself as someone who's very fearful, then for me, my Bhagwan is a protector. My daddy strongest. My God is better than your God. So, the Shaivas will say, no, no, it's all the way, it's Shiva. Vaishnavas will say Vishnu. The Shaktas will say Devi. And initially, it may be helpful, at least you are relating to Bhagwan, that's fine. But the moment you say, I am superior to you, just because I like apples, you like oranges, does not make you more superior or inferior. But the moment this creeps in, I want to prove you wrong. There is conflict. And so our journey of bhakti may start with Ekarupa Bhakti, that I can relate to Bhagwan in this one form, and that's wonderful. But it is incomplete. So if I lament, that, oh, I'm praying and I'm doing all the right things, but it's not yielding results, your bhakti, your loving devotion has to transform into Vishwarupa Bhakti, into seeing that all forms are forms of that same Bhagwan. And that will lead you to inquire into Advaita. So, what is really the reality of Bhagwan leading to Siddhi? Advaita Siddhi is Arupa Bhakti. Okay. So, Bhagwan also says, and it's just so sweetly, he says, Avyaktam Vyaktimapannam Manyante Mama Buddhayaha. So, Abuddhayaha. So, polite is basically Buddhus. Okay. The people who don't have Buddhi, not using Buddhi, what do? They Manyante, they think I am a limited form only. Param bhavamajanantaha mama avyayam anuttamam. So they don't recognize that I have always been formless. And in fact, I am changeless. They just limit me and they just stuff one laddu in my mouth. I am trying to teach them the Bhagavad Gita. And they say, no, no, Krishna, we just want to see you and we want to offer you the sweets we have cooked. So this battle of God is one form versus recognizing God is both form as well as formless can be undertaken by Bhagwan himself teaching us about his reality. Then the seventh battle is the battle of materialism, that is, I am the body, versus all forms are sacred. So materialism, what we have grown up with. So don't think materialism is, the one who runs after money. A lot of us are materialistic because we think that matter is reality. That this thing, yeah, I am this body. Or what the young people say, you only live once this lifetime and that's about it. So if you think like this, then naturally you have to deal with suffering and loss. That after all that you have done, what will happen? Ram Nam Satya hai. Maybe some people will toss some flowers at the body and that's about it. But then Bhagwan helps us see that the entire material that is there in this Jagat is all pervaded by him. That you are thinking you are just matter and inconsequential. No, no, no. All forms are sacred. And so in the seventh chapter, he gives us one long list. And of course, later on, 10th chapter also. He says, I am the strength in all human beings. The people who are discriminative, I am their buddhi. I am the very desire. Kamaha, I am dharma aviruddhaha. I am the taste in water, rasaha apsu. I am the light in the moon and the sun, prabha shashi surya yoho. I am that sweet fragrance in the earth, punya gandhaha, and the sound in space, khe shabdaha. So further he says, Ahamatma Gudakeshaha Sarvabhuta Shayastitaha Ahamadishcha Madhyancha Bhutanamanta Evacha. Aham, Bhagwan is saying, I am that self that resides in the hearts of all beings. Uh, Only me? No, no, no. All, sarva bhuta shayastitaha. And then aham adi, I am the cause, I am the one who sustains, and all the beings resolve into me. So just by recognizing this individual who thinks I am only this matter, material, is now connected to the total, that this entire form is sacred. There is an appreciation of the fact that the total, that is Bhagwan, sustains me, and that I am absolutely in order because I am sacred. What a culture that helps you see this. And then a couple of more battles that are there. So the other one is the battle of work as a burden and work as a blessing. So a lot of people will say, what, work is like this four-letter word. What to do? I have to work. Versus I have the privilege to work and contribute. So you are very busy. I don't have the time for Gita. No, nothing. Very good. You are the absolutely right candidate. Because if you, as the individual, see that you are ever connected, then that makes you a loving devotee. And so what can you do? Bhagwan tells you what you can do. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam svakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. Swakarmana tam abhyarcha. Through your own karma, through your roles, your responsibilities, your duties, which you don't have to do, by the way, but you have the privilege of being able to do. Recognize that privilege. So through that, you actually worship Bhagwan. And who is this Bhagwan? Oh, from whom all the beings have come about, and who sustains all of this. So this battle is easily resolved by saying that yes, things are difficult right now, but I have the support that I need. And what a privilege it is for me to do all my roles and responsibilities. There are so many in the world who don't have this, who are not related to all these people, and I just get to do all of this. So you honor the where Bhagwan has placed you according to your laws of karma. And finally, the battle of I am limited versus Vedanta teaching us that I am the limitless. So, right in the second chapter, na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha ajo nitya shashvato yam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Starting problem of Arjuna, the of human limitation, and Bhagwan Krishna starting with a bang, saying, you have no reason to grieve. So he does not give him mantra. He doesn't do Shakti part. He doesn't say, I'll teach you about war strategy. He doesn't say, just shut up. We will talk about it later. He says, you have no reason for sorrow. He doesn't even validate, oh, I feel so sad for you. Nothing. Why you have no reason for sorrow? Why? Because you have taken this form as subject to death, as subject to birth. And I'm telling you that you, who you really are, that is not subject to birth or death. So the body is material, it is made of gunas, it is made of energy, it is changing. Atma is not material, Atma is not energy, because energy also, people say, oh, Atma is energy, those are rubbish. Atma is, because energy is also subtle matter, Atma is the basis of everything. So Atma is not changing, body mind is changing. Atma does not come and go. So, the teachings of Atma, of course, make you recognize that you were always free. And finally, all these 8, 9 battles that we have looked at, we close with the last verse of the Gita, that if you have Sri Krishna by your side, wherever Sri Krishna is, wherever a competent person like Arjuna is, with ready to fight with his bow in hand, there will be wealth, there will be victory, there will be glory, there will be justice. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishnaha, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutihi, Dhruvani Matir Mama. So the Bhagavad Gita is available to all of us. May we honor it and may we imbibe the teachings. And because Bhagwan Krishna will ensure that we will fight and win every battle. Because Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. Om Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much, Swamini. I think you sort of addressed almost all the internal battles that one goes through in various stages of life, in the various situations that you handled through the Gita. In the morning, Swamiji actually looked at the Gita battlefield and how dharma plays a role there and how dharma was interpreted, and gave a lot of examples on the battlefield. And so nicely you have taken the other perspective of battle within oneself, and see how Gita throws light on battle within oneself also. I think it's a lovely two different amazing perspectives on the on Gita. So enlightening. Thank you so much, Swamini. I do not think we have too many questions. No, we don't as of now. I think that's a battle that people are, battling internally. So, while they're battling, I think, Swamiji, would you like to?
Yeah, I was thinking of the young lady who walked into my class in 1998. And I'm so proud of her being such a great teacher today. You've come a long, long, long way, and I'm so proud to be part of your journey. Great job. You also brief and clear because you brought in 9 types of battle in the sphere of an hour. Great job. Very well done. Thank you.